Imagine this. You're about to book your very first cruise. You're picturing ocean views, amazing food, and a totally stress-free vacation. But then you start researching, and suddenly it gets overwhelming. The truth is, not all cruise lines are the same. Some are massive floating cities with top-deck roller coasters and non-stop party energy. Others are quiet, refined retreats focused entirely on culture and relaxation. And choosing the wrong one could completely ruin your trip. Today, we're breaking down the absolute best cruise lines for first-time cruisers. We'll explain exactly who each one is built for, their biggest advantages, and what you must know before booking. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which cruise line is the perfect fit for your first cruise. Let's get started. If you're looking for a cruise that's lively, social, and easy on the budget, this cruise line might be exactly what you're looking for. Carnival Cruise Line is famous around the world for its fun ships, and it's one of the most accessible ways to try cruising for the first time. This line is ideal for budget-conscious travelers, families, and groups of friends who want a high-energy cruise where the focus is simply having fun. If you're looking for a quiet, meditative retreat at sea, this probably isn't the cruise line for you. Let's start with the advantages. First and foremost is affordability. Carnival consistently offers some of the most competitive prices in the industry, making cruising much more accessible for first-time cruisers. But don't let the lower price tag fool you. Carnival's newest XL-class ships, Mardi Gras, Carnival Celebration, and Carnival Jubilee, are incredibly modern and packed with features. We're talking about actual top-deck roller coasters, huge water parks, ropes courses, and impressive original entertainment. Another big highlight is the food. Carnival's complimentary dining is widely considered one of the best at sea for casual eats. You'll find favorites like Guy's Burger Joint and Blue Iguana Cantina, both included with your cruise fare. And then there's the atmosphere. Carnival cruises are known for being relaxed, social, and energetic. The sail-away parties are legendary, the nightlife is lively, and the entire experience is designed to keep the fun going all week long. Now let's talk about the downsides. The biggest drawback is fleet consistency. While the newer ships are fantastic, some of the older vessels in the fleet can feel a bit dated, with smaller cabins and very bold, colorful decor that can feel a bit overwhelming, almost like a floating Las Vegas. Because of the affordable pricing and fun-focused brand, the crowd can also get a little rowdy, especially on short 3- or 4-day weekend cruises. However, Carnival is making big moves to compete with other cruise lines. In 2025, they opened Celebration Key in the Bahamas, a massive new private destination designed to rival the industry's best beach experiences. Still, if you want an action-packed vacation at an unbeatable price, Carnival remains a fantastic starting point for beginners. If you want to sail on a beautiful, modern megaship without paying premium cruise prices, this next cruise line deserves your attention. That cruise line is MSC Cruises. MSC is perfect for budget-conscious travelers who still want massive, modern ships packed with features. It's especially appealing to families, younger travelers, and anyone who enjoys a lively international atmosphere with a distinct European flair. Because of that European influence, nightlife often starts later in the evening compared to American cruise lines, and MSC is also one of the best options for cruising in Europe and the Mediterranean. Let's start with the advantages. One of MSC's biggest strengths is value. In many markets, their base fares are some of the lowest in the industry, and even their add-ons, like drink packages or Wi-Fi, often cost less than what you'll find on competing cruise lines. Another major highlight is the ships themselves. MSC has been building some of the newest and most visually stunning ships at sea. Vessels like MSC World America and MSC Seascape are massive, beautifully designed, and packed with attractions, from water parks and sports complexes to VR arcades and large entertainment venues. MSC also offers something unique called the MSC Yacht Club, a luxury ship-within-a-ship experience with private lounges, a dedicated restaurant, and even butler service. It's one of the most affordable ways to experience a luxury-style cruise on a large ship. And their private island in the Bahamas, Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve, is fantastic. Instead of giant water parks, the focus is on natural beaches, crystal clear water, and marine conservation. Now let's talk about the downsides. It's worth noting that MSC isn't typically chosen for its food or service. It's chosen for value and its modern ships. Because MSC attracts a very international crowd, announcements are often repeated in several languages, which can sometimes slow things down on board. Service and dining can also feel a bit inconsistent compared to some American cruise lines. And while the ships are beautiful, the entertainment and overall organization don't always reach the same polished level as competitors like Royal Caribbean. Still, if you want a modern ship at a very competitive price, MSC can be an excellent option for first-time cruisers. If the idea of strict schedules, assigned dining times, and formal dress codes sounds stressful, this next cruise line might be perfect for you. It's Norwegian Cruise Line, often called NCL. Norwegian is especially popular with families, couples, and solo travelers who want maximum flexibility on their vacation. The entire experience is designed to feel relaxed and casual rather than structured. The biggest advantage of Norwegian is something they pioneered called freestyle cruising. Instead of fixed dining times and assigned seating, you can eat where you want, when you want. There's no pressure to follow a schedule, and many venues stay open late, including casual spots like the local pub, which is available 24 hours on many ships. Their newest ships are also packed with attractions. Vessels like Norwegian Encore, Prima, and Viva feature outdoor go-kart tracks, water slides, virtual reality arcades, and huge entertainment venues. Norwegian also offers popular bundled promotions like Free at Sea, which can include drink packages, Wi-Fi, and specialty dining, adding significant value for first-time cruisers. Another big advantage is how well Norwegian caters to solo travelers. They offer dedicated studio cabins designed specifically for single guests, along with a private lounge where solo cruisers can meet each other. And if you want something more upscale, Norwegian offers The Haven, a luxury ship-within-a-ship complex with private lounges, restaurants, and butler service. Now let's talk about the downsides. The most common complaint about Norwegian is what some cruisers call nickel and diming. While the base fare can look attractive, many onboard experiences, like go-karts, certain entertainment, and specialty dining, come with additional charges. Another drawback is that on some of the newer ships, particularly the Prima class, the main pool areas are surprisingly small for ships of that size, which can make sea days feel crowded. Still, if you want a cruise where you set your own schedule, Norwegian remains one of the best options for first-time cruisers. If your idea of the perfect cruise involves great food, beautiful ships, and a calmer atmosphere, this next category may be exactly what you're looking for. That's where Princess Cruises and Celebrity Cruises really shine. These cruise lines are ideal for couples, mature travelers, and anyone looking for a more relaxed and elegant experience. With quiet pool decks, great dining, and a refined atmosphere instead of loud deck parties and roller coasters. Princess, in particular, is also one of the top choices for Alaska cruises, with deep experience in the region and even their own wilderness lodges. Let's look at the advantages. Both Princess and Celebrity offer an experience that sits right between mainstream and luxury cruising. The ships are beautiful, the service is excellent, and the overall atmosphere feels calmer and more sophisticated than many larger family-focused cruise lines. The food is a major highlight. Both lines are known for high-quality dining, excellent specialty restaurants, and some of the best buffets at sea. Princess is famous for its International Cafe, a 24-hour spot serving pastries, coffee, and snacks throughout the day. The ships themselves are also stunning. Princess is known for having some of the most comfortable beds at sea, which perfectly matches its relaxed premium feel, while Celebrity's modern Edge-class ships feature sleek contemporary design. Princess also stands out with its Medallion-class technology, which allows you to unlock your cabin automatically, order food or drinks anywhere on the ship, and move through embarkation much faster. Entertainment on these ships tends to be refined rather than flashy, with excellent live music, theater productions, and classic cruise activities. Now let's talk about the downsides. The biggest trade-off is the lack of adrenaline-style attractions. You won't find roller coasters, massive water parks, or bumper cars here. Because these lines are more upscale, the prices are typically higher than budget-friendly options like Carnival or MSC. And while the dress code is much more relaxed today than it used to be, there are still some semi-formal evenings which may not appeal to every traveler. Still, if you prefer a calmer, more refined cruise experience with excellent food and beautiful ships, Princess and Celebrity are excellent choices for first-time cruisers. If you're looking for an adults-only cruise that feels modern, social, and completely different from traditional cruising, this next option might be exactly what you're looking for. That cruise line is Virgin Voyages. Virgin is strictly adults only, meaning no passengers under 18 are allowed on board. It's especially popular with couples, food lovers, and travelers who want a more modern and social cruise experience. It also attracts a very diverse, open-minded crowd, which adds to the relaxed and inclusive atmosphere on board. Let's start with the advantages. The biggest difference with Virgin is the food. Instead of traditional buffets and massive main dining rooms, the ships feature over 20 unique restaurants and eateries, and almost all of them are included in the cruise fare. The quality is widely considered some of the best in the industry. Another major advantage is what's included. Basic Wi-Fi, gratuities, group fitness classes, and essential drinks like soda and water are all built into the price, which makes the overall experience feel much more all-inclusive. The ships themselves are modern and stylish, and Virgin keeps announcements to a minimum, so the entire experience feels calmer and less intrusive than traditional cruise lines. Cabins are tech-focused, balconies feature Virgin's famous red hammocks, and there's no formal dress code anywhere on board. Entertainment is also very different from traditional cruise lines. Instead of classic Broadway-style shows, Virgin focuses on immersive performances and unique events like Scarlet Night, a ship-wide celebration that turns the entire vessel into a massive party. They also offer a beautiful private destination in the Bahamas called the Beach Club at Bimini, which perfectly matches the resort-style atmosphere on board. Now let's talk about the downsides. One of the most common complaints is the main pool area, which can feel surprisingly small for ships of this size. The cabins are stylish, but the bathrooms are quite compact, which some travelers notice immediately. Another challenge is the heavy reliance on the mobile app. Everything from dining reservations to show bookings happens through the app, and it can occasionally be glitchy. And finally, Virgin still has a smaller fleet and fewer itineraries, mostly focused on the Caribbean and Mediterranean compared to larger cruise lines. Still, if you want a cruise that feels modern, social, and completely different from a typical cruise experience, Virgin Voyages is an excellent option for first-time cruisers. If your idea of cruising involves smaller ships, incredible food, and a quiet boutique hotel atmosphere, this next category may be the perfect fit. This is where Viking Ocean Cruises and Oceania Cruises stand out. These cruise lines are ideal for travelers who want a refined, destination-focused experience centered around culture, relaxation, and exceptional cuisine rather than massive ships and high-energy entertainment. What really sets them apart is their focus on the destinations themselves, with longer port stays, fewer crowds on board, and a much more immersive experience overall. Let's start with the advantages. The biggest difference is ship size. These vessels are much smaller, often carrying around 1,000 passengers or fewer, which not only creates a calmer atmosphere, but also allows them to visit smaller, more exclusive ports that megaships simply cannot reach. Another major advantage is the inclusive experience. Viking, for example, includes Wi-Fi, specialty dining, access to their Nordic spa, and even beer and wine with lunch and dinner in the cruise fare. They also include at least one shore excursion in every port. Oceania, on the other hand, has built its reputation around exceptional cuisine. Many travelers consider their restaurants among the finest at sea, with menus designed by world-class chefs and an emphasis on fresh, high-quality ingredients. Now let's talk about the downsides. The most obvious challenge is price. These cruises are significantly more expensive than mainstream lines like Carnival or MSC. They also aren't designed for families. And finally, the nightlife is much quieter. Instead of loud deck parties or casinos, you'll find classical music, enrichment lectures, and relaxed cocktail lounges. Still, if your ideal cruise focuses on beautiful destinations, incredible food, and a peaceful onboard atmosphere, Viking and Oceania offer one of the most rewarding cruise experiences at sea. But if you're looking for the cruise line that delivers the most complete experience for first-time cruisers, there's one company that consistently stands above the rest. And that cruise line is Royal Caribbean. If you're completely unsure which cruise line to choose for your very first sailing, this is our #1 overall recommendation. Honestly, Royal Caribbean is built for almost everyone. It's perfect for families, couples, multi-generational groups, and anyone who wants the full megaship experience with endless things to see and do. Royal Caribbean also sails all over the world, from the Caribbean and Alaska to Europe, Asia, and beyond. For families in particular, it offers some of the best kids' clubs and onboard activities in the cruise industry. Let's start with the advantages. Royal Caribbean is the true king of the megaship. Their newest Icon-class ships, including Icon of the Seas and Star of the Seas, have completely redefined what a cruise ship can be. These ships are divided into distinct neighborhoods, including the famous Central Park, filled with thousands of real plants, open-air restaurants, and relaxing lounges. The onboard attractions are simply unmatched. You'll find massive water parks, zip lines, surf simulators, skydiving simulators, ice skating rinks, and some of the most impressive entertainment at sea. Royal Caribbean is also famous for its world-class shows, including full Broadway-style productions and the incredible Aqua Theater performances featuring high-diving acrobatics. Another huge advantage is the variety of accommodations, from budget-friendly interior cabins all the way up to incredible multi-level suites designed for large families. At the very top end, some of these suites even include Royal Genie service, essentially a personal butler who can handle almost anything for you on board. Royal Caribbean also offers some of the fastest and most reliable internet at sea, which is a big advantage for modern travelers. And, of course, there's their private island in the Bahamas, Perfect Day at Coco Cay. With massive water slides, beach clubs, and beautiful tropical lagoons, it's widely considered the best private island experience in the cruise industry. Now let's talk about the downsides. Because these ships are so massive, carrying 6,000 to 7,000 passengers, they can sometimes feel crowded and overwhelming. You'll also need to plan ahead. The most popular shows, dining venues, and excursions often require advance reservations, especially on the newest ships. And while there are plenty of complimentary food options, many of the specialty restaurants have become more expensive in recent years. Still, when it comes to delivering the most complete and exciting first cruise experience, Royal Caribbean consistently sets the standard. But before you book your first cruise, there's one more thing many beginners don't realize. Some cruises can be very different from the traditional vacation most people expect. They're not bad at all, but they can sometimes be challenging if it's your very first time sailing. Here are a few cruise styles that many first-time cruisers find surprisingly difficult. The first example is expedition cruises. These are incredible trips to places like Antarctica, the Arctic, or the Galapagos, but they're very different from mainstream cruising. Ships are much smaller, entertainment is limited, and the focus is almost entirely on exploration and lectures rather than onboard activities. Another experience that can surprise first-time cruisers is ultra-luxury cruising. Lines like Regent Seven Seas or Seabourn offer exceptional service and incredible food, but the atmosphere is extremely quiet and the price can be very high. Many travelers actually enjoy starting with a mainstream cruise line first and then upgrading to luxury later. And finally, there are highly themed cruises. These sailings are built around very specific interests, things like music festivals at sea, comic conventions, or even full Star Trek cruises. They can be incredibly fun for fans, but the entire ship experience revolves around that theme. For most first-time cruisers, starting with a mainstream cruise line with large ships, plenty of dining options, and lots of entertainment is the easiest way to experience what cruising is really like. And the good news is, if you choose the right line for your first cruise, you're much more likely to fall in love with cruising. Now, I want to hear from you. Which cruise line are you considering for your first cruise? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this guide helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more cruise tips, rankings, and insider advice. And if you're planning your trip right now, check out the next video on the screen, where I reveal the ultimate cruise hacks that will save you time, money, and stress.